My name is Dario, and I'm the creator of Project Capsule. And I got an elevator pitch here. So essentially, we try to solve the multi-tenancy in Kubernetes. And keep in mind that I'm very happy to be here because Capsule has been my first open source project. Now it's part of the CNCF. And trying to keep it short, essentially, we struggled when we had multiple tenants using the same Kubernetes cluster. So the old way was creating multiple clusters, and here instead with Project Capsule, what you can do is to try to enhance the Kubernetes capabilities with the tenant definition. So it's a way to say, I have multiple users, and they can use the same cluster, but defining some boundaries. So creating a sort of virtual slice of the Kubernetes cluster. And in a picture, this is way more simpler trying to understand how it works, because essentially you can end up with multiple Kubernetes clusters, and for those who are operating Kubernetes clusters, you can imagine the pain, or you can have a huge single point of failure, which is a huge cluster. So this is a slide from one of the adopters, and I really love that. And essentially, that's how we say in Italy sometimes, cum grano salis. So it means with a grain of salt. You need to find the perfect balance. And I guess that Capsule essentially is trying to intercept that need. So you can use small clusters, not small clusters, but a small amount of clusters rather than cluster sprawl. And also keep in mind that I'm a huge Dune fan, and essentially there is a reference here, but I'm trying to explain how it works. So essentially you have the cluster administrator that defines the tenant definition. It's a cluster scope resource, so it's GitOps compliant. And after that, you have multiple tenants. They could be Atreides, they could be Harkonnen. And the main benefit here is that it's not imperative, but rather it's self-service. So Atreides or Harkonnen, they can create their own namespaces. And after that, we have Capsule, which is our policy engine. It's a framework where you can define all the policies. So you can create a maximum amount of pods, a maximum amount of namespaces, and the RBAC, and everything there is automatically reconciled by the operator. How it works essentially. So as I said before, we are relying on CRDs. We are leveraging on Kubernetes primitives. So essentially we are using the RBAC, we are using the resource quota, the limit ranges, the network policies. You can replicate everything across these namespaces. And we enhance also with the tenant definition. So in the tenant is your source of truth, where you can define the owners of the tenant. And if you need to replicate also maybe secrets, because these tenants, they need to access a container registry. So secrets for the Docker Hub or Harbor and so on and so forth, you can use the global or the tenant resource. And last but not least also, that's very cool, also the Capsule proxy. So essentially, we try to solve the main problem of kubectl get namespace, and I just want to get the list of my namespaces. It was born just to serve namespaces, but essentially, in the latest releases, we introduced some nice features. It's an ACL proxy in front of the API server, so you're not ending up with multiple API servers. There is also a thriving community, and I just want to mention that we have some add-ons. So it's a framework we are trying to integrate with the ecosystem. You can use FluxCD for the application delivery, the Argo CD, and also the Capsule proxy evolutions. That is very, very challenging. We had some CVEs with the Capsule proxy. You can imagine the pain. But we are doing our best to try to cover as many use cases as possible. We have some vendors. Classics is the main contributor, and we have also PickScale. And we got also some nice adopters because we have a DoD agency from the US, even though we are in Europe. So I just want to mention also TomTom Engineering and ASML. So the DoD agency is using Capsule to decrease the cluster sprawl. So they are using smaller clusters and creating slices for the tenants. TomTom Engineering, instead, they went for creating a contract with the developers. So they just need to deploy their own application with customized, nothing more, nothing less. And ASML, instead with Capsule, they're creating a platform for data engineers. We need your help, by the way. This is a community project, so we are looking for maintainers. I know that it's very hard trying to engage with an already built project, but we need your help. And also trying to engage with the cloud native community. So with adopters, please mark yourself. We have also NVIDIA using Project Capsule, but it's very hard trying to engage with NVIDIA and saying, hey, since you're using that, you share that in the keynote of KubeCon North America. Put yourself in the adopters. That's pretty important for us. And with that said, let's meet at the KubeCon booth with Project Capsule maintainers. That's all. Thank you.